Hi, this is Landon from thAutcast.com, and I want to talk with you about an article I just read from my own local paper. It's about parent reactions to the deaths of George Hodgins, who was a 22-year-old guy with autism, and Elizabeth Hodgins, who was his mom. And I think the understanding of the situation, at least right now, is that she shot and killed him and then killed herself. The article's by Lisa Fernandez and Joe Rodriguez, and it's, boy, is it well intended. I mean, clearly the intention of this article is to bring attention to a really significant social problem. And I applaud that, and I thank them for that. But first of all, the really significant issue with this article is that it adopts the point of view that I think allows people like George to die, and that is the feelings of the parents of autistic people and the dilemmas that the parents of autistic people find themselves in are significant and moving and worthy of our attention. But that the problems that autistic people ourselves find ourselves in, our point of view just isn't interesting to you. And that is, you won't start treating us with respect. You can't. Until you start caring what we think about our own lives. Now, I'm not talking, actually, in this case, about quote-unquote high-functioning people like myself. I'm talking about the opinions of the sort of autistic adults who actually need care on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, I do understand, yes, a lot of those people are nonverbal, but a lot of them aren't. You can talk to people. You really can talk to autistic people. You really can talk to autistic people about our lives. And again, I think the fact that well, let me just read you one of the comments, because I think it's very typical of an attitude that exists in the world regarding autistic people. This is from Don't Have One Starfire, and it is, at least this mother did something about a tragic situation. Now, the tragic situation was having an autistic child, or not a child, an autistic 22-year-old. That's not a tragedy. Having someone who doesn't have a safe place to be cared for, that can be a tragedy. Okay. Let's look a little bit at the article, because there are also more subtle issues that are problematic about it, beginning with the headline. This is the headline. Parents of autistic children speak out on Sunnyvale murder-suicide. What's the problem with that? None of the people interviewed or whose opinions are included in the article is the parent of an autistic child. They are all parents of autistic adults. One of the reasons why the needs of people like George get forgotten is that when we talk about autistic people, we talk usually about autistic children. Now, this is not the problem of the writer. This is a careless headline. I think the writer of the headline was careless, read the first sentence, and really didn't think beyond it. But that's the way people think about us. They think of us as being children. Okay. One of the reasons for that is that when people write about us, they talk to our parents rather than us, right? When do you do that? You do that with kids. You don't do that with grown-ups. Okay. Oh boy. It's absolutely appropriate. The article points out that budget cuts are a huge issue here, are really the most significant issue, and I certainly would agree with that. Okay. Terrible sentence. While they don't condone or excuse what Elizabeth Hodgins did, parents interviewed by this newspaper said they understood what would drive a parent of an autistic child to commit such a senseless act. Don't say that anymore. You know, please. Please do not focus, parents, when you speak to the media, please do not continue to focus your sympathy on the parent. Please try to focus the reporter's attention on the autistic person who was killed. Pretend that you care as much about the autistic person who was killed as you do about the parent. Okay, when you're talking to the media, can you try that, please? What Joanna Jager says, inexcusable. She says, a lot of people, they get pretty desperate. Fine. We don't know what caused this mother to do this, but every mother I know has a child. Let me try that again. We don't know what caused this mother to do this, but every mother I know who has a child with special needs has a moment just like that. I am heartbroken. Really? Every mother has a moment when she gets out her gun, which she owns, shoots her kid in the head, and then shoots herself. Every mother has a moment just like that. That's the experience of what it's like to be the parent of someone with autism that you want to emphasize to the outside world, to reporter. Thank you so much. So helpful, so kind. Okay. Then they talk to Anna Wang. Now, Anna is fantastic, and I'm sure that Joanna is too. It's just that was a dumb thing to say, but the thing is that okay. Talking about her son Lawrence. Lawrence is now 22, and Wang was able to figure out a way to have him live at home, work 3 part-time jobs, and play saxophones, all things that make her luckier than parents whose children can't function as well as her son can. You know, I mean, it is an incredible achievement of Anna, that Lawrence is able to live the life that he is, and that he's if you pay attention to my website, thAutcast, you've seen his work. Lawrence is a great talent. But Lawrence is also a great talent. Lawrence is part... Anna isn't just lucky. Lawrence is a person who has volition and who is talented and smart and works hard. And that idea is not included in this article. That idea is not included most of the time when the media talks about people who are profoundly affected by autism. And I think, again, that's a lot of why do we cut these programs? Why don't we have these programs to begin with? Because you don't think of us, and you especially don't think of those of us who are most affected by autism, as being fully human. The services will come when you care.